So as we cruise into 2025, Chicago real estate scene is buzzing with neighborhoods that are hotter than a deep dish pizza, fresh out of the oven. Here are 5 areas that are turning heads and opening wallets. The first is Logan Square, right up here. Logan Square is a historic group of boulevards and a vibrant art scene are your jam. Logan Square is calling your name. The neighborhood has been climbing the popularity charts, attracting first-time homebuyers and young professionals like bees to honey, with a culinary scene that's as diverse as the city's weather and nightlife that keeps the party going. It's no wonder folks are flocking to Logan Square. Our next area is West Loop. West Loop is right here. Once the industrial heart of the city, West Loop has had glow up that would make reality TV jealous. Now a foodie paradise and art lover's dream, its proximity to downtown and sky-high walk score make it the belle of the urban living ball. Modern condos and lofts come with amenities that would make a spa blush, attracting those who want to be in the thick of it all, and that's what's in West Town. The furthest south neighborhood is Pilsen, a very historic Mexican area which is opening up to everybody. Is Pilsen. Steeped in Mexican culture and artistic flair, Pilsen is the neighborhood equivalent of a piñata bursting with surprises. Affordable housing and a tight-knit community make it a magnet for new residents, home to the National Museum of Mexican Art, and host to annual fiestas like the Pilsen Open Studio and the Molde Mayo Festival. It's a cultural hotspot that's hard to resist. Fourth is the South Loop. Talk about a changing area, the South Loop. The South Loop is like that friend who went on a wellness retreat and came back transformed. Significant redevelopment has turned it into a promising area for real estate investment, with new residential and commercial buildings popping up like daisies and easy access to downtown. It's a prime spot for those looking to invest in the city's future. And our last neighborhood is West Town. That's right up here, right next to Goose Island. West Town, encompassing gems like East Humboldt Park. West Town is the cool kid on the block. Diverse food options and nightlife that doesn't quit, and historic Victorian architecture give it a unique blend of old and new. It's a creative hub that draws in young professionals faster than you can say artesian coffee. So these neighborhoods are not just places to live, they're lifestyles waiting to be embraced. Keep an eye on them as they continue to evolve and set the pace for Chicago's real estate groove in 2025. Now, there are so many people that move in these neighborhoods, and that's great. You know, I don't know when you're a person from out of state moving to Chicago, maybe for work or family or for various reasons, if these would be the neighborhoods. They tend to be a touch more expensive. If there's children involved, they may be thinking about, okay, schools become a real priority when people are moving from out of state, and that's what happens. Now, a lot of people in Chicago that live in these kind of neighborhoods, when they start having a family, they do consider moving to, let's say, the North Shore of Chicago, which I'm going to show you next. There was a great company that was in a suburb of Chicago, and they decided to change where they were at, which was in Northfield, Illinois. They had a big campus, and then they decided they wanted to get younger people, and so they wound up going closer to somewhere between West Loop and South Loop. And that was, a great move for them. That's what they were looking for, and it worked out pretty well. So it just depends. But for those of you who have questions about these areas, who would consider living there, they're wonderful areas. Well, let's take a look at some of the hot new north suburbs and what's going on as uh, for those who may consider moving close to Chicago, but in the Chicago suburbs as opposed to uh, the neighborhoods of Chicago. So let's take a look here at a few of these, and we'll go back and go over some of the ones that I've talked about before. Let me just put in one of my favorites, which is the fifth one. So the first town I wanted to talk about here was Skokie. Great town. Skokie is where I grew up, actually, and Skokie is right here. So as we roll into 2025, the northern suburbs of Chicago are sprucing up like they're prepping for a big date. Catching the eyes of home buyers and investors alike, here are 5 suburbs that are turning heads. And as I said, the first one is Skokie. Just a hop, skip, and a jump of Chicago, Skokie is blending urban buzz with suburban chill. The village has been giving the downtown a facelift and adding some green spaces. Plus, the Skokie Valley Trail extension is set to wrap up in 2025, making it easier to get around and enjoy the outdoors. So that's a big change in Skokie. Now, most of these areas all have very good schools, typically affordable. Skokie's very affordable. I lived here, and it's a really nice suburb and really close to getting into the city, getting in downtown, getting to O'Hare Airport, things like that. So that's our first hot town right now. Our second hot town is Evanston. Now, Evanston is home to Northwestern University. Evanston is like that cool college town that never lost its charm, with Lake Michigan as its neighbor and downtown packed with shops and eateries. It's a sweet spot for those who want the best of both worlds. Ongoing developments and a green living vibe are adding to its appeal. Now, again, we're anywhere up here as well as in the city, because down here, these areas, which are all neighborhoods of Chicago, and they start right here at Rogers Park. But when we're near the lake, it tells us a lot that's going on here. These two towns are close to the lake. Evanston is actually on the lake. But the third town is Park Ridge. So Park Ridge is right here. It's known for top-notch public schools, a family-friendly atmosphere. Park Ridge offers that suburban feel with a quick commute to the city. It's walkable downtown, brimming with shops and restaurants, along with a tight-knit community, make it a hit among families. So I really like Park Ridge. Never lived in Park Ridge. I knew a lot of people who did. There's a lot of people I knew went to Maine South High School, and Park Ridge becomes very close to the airport, which is right here. And it's a great town. And there's also a great hospital, Lutheran General Hospital, which is in Park Ridge. The fourth town that we're talking about is Des Plaines, which is really an up-and-coming town. And I was an election judge in Des Plaines. Even though I live in Glenview, I was an election judge in Des Plaines. So with wallet-friendly housing and a stone's throw from O'Hare International Airport, Des Plaines is gaining popularity among young pros and families. The suburb boasts a variety of recreational spots and has been pumping funds into infrastructure to keep up with its growing crowd. So we've got 4, and our 5th is Buffalo Grove. So let's look for Buffalo Grove here, right up here. It's a unique town, Buffalo Grove, because it's split between Cook County and Lake County, and I'll explain that in a minute. But Buffalo Grove is turning heads with its top-rated schools and a smorgasbord of recreational activities. Think lush parks, winding trails, community perks that residents love. Housing here strikes a balance between affordability and quality, offering options that fit growing families like a glove. And these suburbs are not just places to live, they're communities on the rise, each with its own unique flavor, making them the one to watch in the Chicago area as we cruise through 2025. Now, back to Buffalo Grove. Chicago is split up into counties, and the biggest county and the second biggest county in the United States is Cook County. And that would be pretty much everything here south. So these are all in Cook County. Up here north is Lake County. Okay. Now, one of the big differences between Lake and Cook is the fact that Lake is a half a point higher in property taxes. So if you're paying, you know, if you're paying 4.5% here in Cook County, you're paying 5 in Lake. In Buffalo Grove's case, being split, the one half goes to a different high school, which is Buffalo Grove High School, and then the upper half, the Lake half, goes to Stevenson, which is a hugely popular high school. But there's so many great towns in this area. You know, in the past we talked about the number one town being Glencoe, number two was Winnetka, number three was Wilmette, number four is Northfield, which is right here. Number 5 is Glenview. Number 6 is Northbrook. And then there's other really great towns like Highland Park is right here, Deerfield. Now, a place where I've got people looking right now is right here in Barrington. I mean, I've got a client that's looking at a 5-acre property for about $2.5 million. So it offers a whole different smorgasbord of properties and houses, and so do a lot of these others. In fact, when you're talking about Barrington, there's Barrington, which has great schools. These are all Barrington properties: Barrington Town, South Barrington, Barrington Hills, Barrington Lake. But other great towns are all here. You know, Rolling Meadows, Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights, Palatine, Inverness, great town. Okay, so there's plenty here, and it doesn't all have to be here because it gets a little more expensive in the North Shore. You get a little bit more of a price break when you're into some of these towns. Of course, not on a 5-acre property, but yeah. So there's a lot to learn if you're going to move here. And what I'm doing now is I'm working with some buyers who are got different price ranges. You know, like I said, one is looking for something up here in Barrington Hills, which is 5 acres and about 2.6 million. But I've got people in Skokie looking for 400,000. So there's a huge, and you've got to know these suburbs. You know, I'm like The Rock here. I'm 25 years in this area, working at helping people find the best properties for them. That's my goal in life, is to help people find the right homes, or I sell their homes, and I'm happy to do that. I have so if somebody who's watching this and eventually buys and they want to sell, that's my goal, is to make sure that they get as much exposure as possible to sell their home to. Let's say you're living here in Glencoe, but there's somebody in Japan who's looking to move to the Chicagoland area, you know, and has a decent amount of money to spend. So you want to be exposed to anyone and everyone who could buy in this area if this is where you're going to live, and that's what my job is. So if you have any questions about about the north suburbs or the neighborhoods I showed you in Chicago, don't hesitate to contact me, call me, text me, email me, anything that I'm getting a lot of people contacting me these days. So the market's a little tough. It's around 7% for mortgages. And I just sold a really beautiful property in Wilmette, a small house, but the people wanted Wilmette so they can go to New Trier High School, and they paid full price. which was also very nice. But there's plenty here, and I look forward to talking to you. So don't hesitate. Thanks so much. Take care, and give me a holler. Bye.